Welcome to the Unshackled Life podcast, real talk about faith, freedom, and following Jesus. My name's Dalen Woodard, and today's episode is a little different than what I've done before. Sometimes we think we've won just because we didn't lose as bad as we could have. But true victory isn't just about avoiding failure, it's about walking in the strength, mercy, and finished work of Jesus. This episode is made up of a short message I shared during the start of college football season 2024, where a game got me thinking about my own spiritual scoreboard. It's not a then and now, as I won't be reflecting on it at the end. It's just a raw, honest moment about the difference between barely surviving temptation and actually walking in victory, the kind that only comes through Christ, that I have never released as a standalone message. So today I thought I would share it that way. I use a football analogy to get there, but the real point is deeper. Our greatest wins aren't in our effort, but in His grace. Here's the message: true victory. I was thinking about it a little bit last night after a football game. It is that time of year again, and I know there's only probably one person here who is as thrilled about that as I am, and the rest of you don't care, but you can still understand the analogies. College football is back, and for those of you who don't know, I went to Texas Tech for a few semesters, couple semesters, and that is my D1 team. Red and black all the way. And they played Abilene Christian University last night for their first game of the centennial season, their 100th year as a football team. For those of you who don't know and don't care, Texas Tech is a Division I team, which means they're one of the bigger schools like Texas A&M and University of Texas and Stanford and all that kind of stuff. And Abilene Christian University is a D2 team like SFA. So this is on par with SFA playing a bigger school, which happens usually once a year. And the people who try to figure out the spread, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like the head start to make it even. This team is way better than this team, but we want the fight to be even, so we're going to handicap. We're going to give somebody a head start. They gave them about a 5-touchdown head start. 34 and a half points, half a point under 5 touchdowns. The final score at the end of overtime was 52-51. And technically, Texas Tech got a W. But it was a loss. If you're supposed to win by 35 points and you win by 1, that's a loss. You did poorly. But there were still people running around, jumping around, celebrating. I mean, I saw a few people commenting like, "What are you celebrating for? That was embarrassing." And it was. People are calling for coaches' jobs and all kinds of stuff because they are rightly putting the blame on the coaching staff and not the players. But the point is, I realize that I have a lot more victories like that in my life than I like to think about. There are times I face temptation and sin in my life and struggle and difficulty, and I get through the other side without screwing it up too bad, and I think, victory. And last night I had this image of the angels sitting in heaven going, he thinks that was a victory? He was supposed to just be able to access grace and walk right through those guys. What's going on? He wanted to do it. He was tempted to do it. He embraced the thought with his heart and his mind, and then when it gained time to do it, started fighting when it's way too late to start fighting then, and barely survived not falling for that temptation. That's not a victory. That's getting handled by sin and just having the grace to not quite completely get the loss. When we start realizing how bad our motives really are, how bad we really want to do some of the things that we don't want to do, we can start to get an idea, a better understanding, I think, of what it really means when it says, my goodness is as filthy rags. Because even when I win, it was way too close. It was way too close to wrong to really be right. Do the right thing for the wrong reason, not really a victory. Not really holiness, not true righteousness. And that's why we need grace. Because Jesus did win. Jesus did get the victory. Jesus did wrap himself in flesh as God, man. Totally God, totally man. Every attribute of God, every attribute of humanity, all the temptations we faced. None of the sin, none of the struggle, never acted out of wrong motive, never acted in a way that was less than love. Perfect victory, what we could never do. And then he gave us his victory and identified with our failure, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. The cross is amazing. There have been plenty of times that I have been the one on the end of a 70-0 loss where I just got wiped out. And those are easy to see. Man, I screwed up. I messed up. Those hurt. But I think I've had more where I falsely felt like I won. Because I didn't mess it up as bad as I could have and thought I was okay. When the truth is that if I really examined my performance, I would see the horror in my heart, the filthiness, how close I really came. And if it had not been for the power of God and the Spirit, I would have jumped right off that cliff. We can't trust ourselves to win because even when we win, we're not right. But we can trust the one who won to give us the power and the strength to walk with God with the right heart, with right motives, with true love, with the love of Christ being demonstrated in us, not the love of people, which is so conditional. So how have you treated me before I respond to you? Or what am I going to get from you if I love you? Are you going to love me back? If not, forget you. God didn't do it that way. God didn't say, you hurt me, I hurt you. You hurt me, I cut you off. He said, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt for you. I'm going to die in your place. But death can't hold me. So I live. And because I live, you can live with true victory. Victory is in Jesus. And that cross, not in our effort, not in our performance. It never has been, it never will be. So thank him for his victory in your life. Realize how much you still need it because none of us are sanctified yet. Thank him for his mercy, for his forgiveness, his love. And remember that he is our hope. He is our victory. And he is the answer to the brokenness in the hearts and lives of the world today.